Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host, Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Hey everybody, how we doing today? Welcome to another edition of the Lead Pedal Podcast. This is a Turnback Tuesday. You know what that means. All right, folks. Turn back the clocks. Clean up the spokes. This is another edition of Turnback Tuesdays with your host, Bruce Out. That's right. We're going to give you a little history lesson today. This is a Turnback Tuesday episode, which means we can go back into time and find out what happened or who they are or why they're here, or any of those kind of things. Hey, today we're going to talk about SPIF axles. If you know what SPIF axle is, well, if you don't know what it is, we'll tell you about it because that's the whole idea of the show. We'll tell you about it right after this. Hey folks, you hear us talking about Rims Transport a lot here on the podcast because they've been a great supporter of ours. But you know what? They have more than the flatbed division that we often talk about. They have a bulk tanker division. They have a dump division. And you know what? They don't do any of those East Coast miles like New York City. That's right. They got steady runs down to the Pennsylvania area, all based out of Hamilton, Ontario. So if you're an owner or operator, you're looking for something steady, you're looking for something where you can predict how much you're going to make, and you look for something that's really going to be a good fit for your business and people that want you to be successful, then you need to look at Rims Transport. Give Ken Robson a call or Margaret Broomfield a call and go to rimstransport.com. You won't regret it. And if you are able to run flatbed, you can look there as well. Lots of opportunities for you, all based out of Hamilton, Ontario. All right, my friends. Hey, make sure you tell them that the Lead Pedal Podcast sent you, and we'll talk to you later. All right, let's get into SPIF axles, shall we? If you don't know what SPIF axles are, because they may not be in your area, but SPIF axles, safe, productive, infrastructure-friendly vehicles. That's right. The government couldn't make it any more long for that. Basically, they're self-steering axles, if you hadn't heard about them. They're in Ontario is where they are. So what they do is they brought them in 2010. The old days, you probably remember trailers where you could lift an axle off of, you have a switch in the dash. You can lift the axle up and down when you're turning. A lot of people were forgetting to put the axles back down. It was ruining the infrastructure, and so they decided to go to SPIF axles. As of 2010, they gave everybody a 10-year grace period, which is probably why in 2020 you saw all of a sudden everybody up in arms, especially all the dump truck guys. They were saying, they didn't change their axles over because their trucks lasted for 15 years, and it's a lot of money. It is about $35,000 to change to add a SPIF axle, and so a lot of people didn't do it, and they were saying they wanted an extension. Well, the government said, sorry, we already gave you 10 years, so this is what it is. So it's a self-steering axle. It's usually in front of your tandems. If you're running a straight truck, it might be a middle axle there. If you've got a trailer, it's especially if you're like a five-legged steel trailer, you may have one at the front, one at the back, and then three in the middle, depending on your configuration. So that's where it is. So they came into Canada, and they have this big name for them, which that's why they call them SPIF. And so now the final phase is done. So you've got to have them on your truck. Now, if you don't have them, you can still haul with them, but you just have to haul lighter. You cannot use that axle as part of your payload, which, of course, is when you're hauling gravel or something like that. That's how you get paid. Anyway, you can learn all about that on the MTO website if you want to learn more about SPIF axles. But we just thought we'd give you a little bit of a history lesson today. So there you go. All about SPIF axles. Hey folks, have you heard of CAT Transport? That's right. They are based out of Quebec, but they run all over and they are looking for you. Not only are they leaders in green technology for their trucks, but they have a lot of benefits for people to drive for them. Some of them being that they've got key locations based in metropolitan areas across North America. That's right. On both sides of the border, you can find a terminal with CAT. They have total health benefits. They have remote work options. They have a competitive compensation package. They have a company matching pension plan, on-site health and wellness programs, career opportunities with the fast-growing company, optimal work-life balance, and skills development and training programs. You don't have to speak French to work there. It does help, but they can run all over. They run across Canada. They run across North America. and they have a lane for you. So why not give them a call at 1-800-363-5313, or you can go to cat.ca. There's English and French sites available, and you can find out all about them. They've got so many things. They've been around for a long time, and we know you're going to have a good career there. So go to cat.ca, and when you talk to them, tell them that the Lead Pedal Podcast sent you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one. Bye for now. All right, there you go. So, hey, you know what? Stay with us here. Follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't know if I missed any. Yeah, we're everywhere. We're everywhere. There you go. Just find us everywhere. You can find a podcast everywhere, anywhere that they play podcasts. And you can also find our radio station at mixcloud.com/leadpedalradio for our live programming. So we got lots of stuff coming up. There you go. There you know the history of SPIF axles. And I'm sure you always wanted to know that. But now you know. There you go. That's what we're here to tell you. All right, everybody, be safe out there. We'll talk to you next time.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.